Welcome to a necessary conversation, not emotional, not reactive, and not about blame. This is a conversation about responsibility, about leadership, and about what must change upstream if we want women to stop paying the price later. This is where we talk about raising her worth. Somewhere along the way, we replace the mandate to protect girls with praise for her resilience. And resilience is a beautiful strength, but it was never meant to be the compensation for her harm. Girls do not need to grow up strong because no one protected them. They need to grow up secure because someone did. Protection is not control. Protection is responsibility lived out early. Protection is stewardship of her heart that God entrusted to families, fathers, mentors, and leaders. When protection is absent, we tell girls to adapt, to endure, to be strong, and then later we praise their resilience without ever asking why it was required in the first place. And that is not strength building. That is cost shifting. A girl learns her worth by what she sees normalized around her. She watches. Who steps in when something threatens her dignity? Who speaks when silence would have been easier? Who sets boundaries when something tries to steal her worth? Who protects her heart before she ever needs words for what is harming her? What she sees repeatedly becomes familiar. What becomes familiar becomes acceptable. And what becomes acceptable becomes her standard. Let me repeat that again. What she sees repeatedly becomes familiar. What becomes familiar becomes acceptable. And what becomes acceptable becomes her standard. And that standard quietly shapes her future. It shapes who she allows close, what she tolerates in relationships, whether she speaks or shrinks, whether love feels safe or confusing, whether boundaries feel like protection or punishment. This is not abstract. This is her formation. And formation happens long before healing is ever needed. And we praise silence like it was harmless. But silence is not neutral. Delay is not harmless. And minimization is not mercy. What we ignore in one generation becomes inherited by the next. Healing without prevention guarantees repetition, and repetition without intervention becomes generational. When warning signs are minimized, girls learn to doubt their instincts. When boundaries are avoided, girls learn that comfort matters more than her safety. When adults hesitate to speak clearly, girls learn to carry confusion quietly. And later, we ask women to heal what should have been protected. That is not wisdom. That is avoidance passed down. We've built systems to respond to wounded women. Wounded women use therapy, coaching, books, sermons, programs, and devotionals. But we've built too few systems to protect girls early, to speak clearly, to interrupt harm before it becomes familiar. And then women are told, pray more, endure longer, forgive faster, be stronger. I've heard them all by people I should have trusted to protect me along the way. While the environments that shaped their pain often go unexamined, here's the result. Responsibility then is placed on women to recover, instead of responsibility placed on families and leaders to perfect and form better from the beginning. But if we want women to live differently, we must raise girls differently. And now that I am explaining it, you know better so that it can be done better. Raising her worth was created to restore responsibility to the voices meant to carry it. Fathers, mentors, churches, families, leaders, communities. This work speaks clearly about worth that does not need earning, protection that is not control, leadership that is not silence, and legacy that is not left to chance. Before confusion becomes normal, before wounds become identity, before healing becomes her full-time job, this is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about clarity, responsibility, and courage. And the question is not, how do we heal women faster? The question is, how do we protect girls earlier and form better from the start? Because legacy is not something we repair later. Legacy is something we build now, defend now, speak now. So the next generation inherits clarity instead of confusion, security instead of survival compensation, worth instead of repair fatigue. This is why speaking about raising her worth first matters, not to shame the past, but to interrupt repetition. Because leadership is love that acts early. Responsibility is love that protects early. Clarity is love that speaks early. I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this channel if you're seeking healing that is wise, grounded, and rooted in faith. And if you know a woman who loves leaders or a father, mentor, or community that shapes the next generation, share this where it belongs. When you're ready to take the next step, you'll find my programs linked below. God bless you and welcome. I'm Jill, your Inner Healing Coach, and you can stay connected to me at Inner Healing Coach on all platforms.